Hey guys, it's Henry from Flat 6 Media here to introduce another episode, this time focusing in on the 2021 Acura TLX. Its past, its present, and the excitement around this living legend. But before we get started, please show your support for the little cute baby channel that we are, and hit subscribe and the bell so that you can be notified whenever we post new content. And with that said, let's go. The Acura TL and the Acura TSX were two well-known cars that helped propel the Acura brand within the US market. The TL was a very popular luxury midsize sedan, and the TSX was its more entry-level sedan. The TL was the more luxurious, more powerful, and most expensive of the two cars. When the TSX sales began to decline in the US market, Acura made a bold move and decided to discontinue the TSX as well as the TL. What they did next was they went ahead and they took those two exact cars and they combined them to make what we now know today as the TLX. Now, usually car manufacturers start to kind of give you a taste or at least preview what that next car is going to be with some concept-like vehicles about 2 years before the car is officially out in the market. Acura did this with the TLX when they released the RDX and started to hint at the fact that the next cars, or in a sense the lineup, was going to be very similar to the build that the RDX had. And what they did is they went ahead and they took a lot of the features from there and moved them into the TLX. The TLX from just a generation or two ago already shares some of the similarities, but the brand new 2021 TLX is effectively a brand new vehicle. It doesn't share much with the previous model. This new version is a big deal. Now, for a little bit of history, the Acura TLX actually came to be back in 2014. However, its more popular, let's call it older brother, the TL, had been in the US market ranging for about almost 25 years. And in that time, it helped define what Acura's luxury vehicle was supposed to look like. In the 25 years that we had the TL, it established itself as Acura's luxury sedan with high quality materials, technology, and unique navigation system. What Acura also put into these vehicles was a touchscreen interface and driving dynamics like Acura SH-AWD, which stands for Super Handling All-Wheel Drive.
Did you know that?
In 2004, Acura's Super Handling All-Wheel Drive was the world's first ever all-wheel drive system. It's a torque vectoring system, and those have been around for a while. The difference is the system controlled power to each axle, meaning it controlled power to the front wheels and the rear wheels. With the Acura Super Handling All-Wheel Drive system, it took it a step further by giving the driver the ability to control the power to each wheel. It didn't only do front to back, but it also helped you control left to right, making the car more maneuverable and more stable, and ultimately improved, giving it even more performance than what we had before.
Now you know!
Some of the models, especially back in the earlier generations, you had a version of the Acura TL called the Type-S. Now, the Type-S was a performance model of the TL. You got Type-S badging, and you had stiffer suspension that made it feel like more of a performance car, yet it still had a lot of the luxurious features that you expect. Now, the TSX, although it was similar, it was smaller, it was cheaper, and it had less tech goodies than the TL, and by goodies I mean buttons. The engine in the TSX was different, and yet came somewhat close to the power that the TL was able to give you. Because of its smaller size, it also had tighter turn radius, ergo it was more maneuverable, and stiffer suspension, which in its own right made it a fun drive. So what's different in the new version of the TLX? Well, it's not a mid-cycle refresh. The exterior is better. It is far more aggressive with its lower and wider stance. It has a sloping roofline that makes it look like it's being pulled back as if it was a slingshot. Now, what that effect does is it makes the car look like it's fast even when it's standing still. Acura is going to release the 4-cylinder, 2-liter turbo TLX in the fall of 2020. Now, in the spring of 2021, we're actually going to get the 6-cylinder Type-S. What the Type-S gives you is better design aesthetics from a sports perspective, performance, suspension, and most importantly, improved engine performance. That's going to give us 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque out of a 3.0-liter V6. Actually bringing back the double wishbone suspension. What that'll do is when you're taking tight turns or wide turns, especially if you're going at high speeds, that allows for more of a contact surface from the tire to the road, making you feel more secure, making you capable of doing more with the car. Now, the interior is clearly improved in several ways. It's comfortable, it's practical, and it's sport. It's comfortable because the seats actually come from the RDX, which are wider. They make you feel more snug because you're getting SUV seats, or CUV, depending on how you see it. And the controls have a great placement. They actually look like they're coming up to the driver, making it easy for them to be leveraged. So should you get the new 2021 Acura TLX? In my opinion, it's an absolute yes. Right? If you don't need a 300 and change horsepower, that 4-cylinder is going to hit a sweet spot where you still get that gas efficiency that everyone wants, but with the turbo, you get the torque and the boost that still makes it a fun car to drive, while you still get the nice leather and all the great goodies that come in a sedan of this type. But if you're a performance enthusiast, especially in a world where cars are starting to push more into the electric world, right? Brands like Acura, although we're sure they're going to bring in an electric car at some point, what they're doing is redefining, or in a sense going back to their roots as a performance brand. And this 2021 TLX Type-S is going to be the one to make that move. It's a gorgeous car. The exterior is nice and aggressive, it looks fast, and when you're inside, it's nice and comfortable. Now, although we haven't driven this car yet, hopefully in the future we will be able to give you some driving impressions. But what I've gotten from the internet, it's a great buy. So if you ask me, and if you ask the guys from Flat 6 Media, we say this car is a buy.